Fan service, anime dragons, and shoot 'em ups. What could go wrong? Debuting in 2013, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is a manga written and drawn by Cool Kyosinja and stars Kobayashi, an average office worker living a boring life when one day she saves the life of an injured female dragon from another dimension named Toru. Having no place to go, Kobayashi offers to let the dragon stay at her home. Toru pledges her loyalty to Kobayashi and serves as her maid in human form, while also declaring her love for Miss Kobayashi. Hijinks ensue when more of Toru's eccentric dragon friends appear. The manga was popular enough that an anime was produced as well as countless merchandise, so it didn't surprise me to see a video game adaptation announced back in 2021. Ms. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Sakuretsu Choro-gon Breath, is a shoot-'em-up starring most of the main cast of the series, Toru, Kana, Emma, Luca, and Kobayashi, as they mysteriously get trapped inside the computer of their other dragon friend, Fafnir. The game lets you choose between three of the dragons, Toru, Kana, and Emma, each with their own style of shooting. As you progress through the levels, you can switch out at any time between the three, and if the character you are using gets injured and losing life points, you can switch to another character so that the injured one can slowly regain health in the background. I thought that was a nice touch and made choosing your dragon more fun or challenging. Toru's a main powerhouse with her giant green beam. Emma's blue scattershot beams will cover most of the field in front of you, while Kana's agility and slicker single shots will work best as you pick out individual targets, though not as powerful as the other two. All three characters can fire a special attack or the Choro-gon Breath, which is a play on the Choroi dragon. Boasting only 5 levels and an old school no saves mentality, the fun in this game comes through repetition as you get better at it, killing your enemies and getting a high ranking score. The levels and enemies are based on standard tropes of role-playing games with simplistic designs and artwork. The more intense moments of the game, however, are the boss battles, which aren't as frustrating as one might think. The actual movement or space between your character and the enemy bullets is spaced well enough for you to move around, learn its patterns, and get good shots in. The game is not as chaotic as other hardcore bullet hell games. I think Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Sakuretsu Choro-gon Breath, is a nice entry point for those wanting to get into shoot-'em-ups or cute-'em-ups, as they like to say. But don't let all this talk of simplicity fool you. The game can provide some challenge if you're not careful. I found myself having to lower the difficulty setting on one of my playthroughs just so I could stop seeing that stupid cake monster for the 20th time. Going back to the visuals, the highlight for me here has to be the character illustrations for the main cast, which are drawn in the same style as their animated counterparts. I did appreciate having the voice cast from the show reprising their roles and injecting a whimsical nature to the experience of this shoot-'em-up. The witty banter between the dragons and Miss Kobayashi is definitely a plus for me as a fan of the franchise and made playing through the story mode a fun time. I do feel I have to point this out though, this cute-'em-up falls under the ecchi pervy category, if you will. As your characters take more damage, their clothings get tattered, revealing more skin as you get closer to fainting. I didn't really care or paid attention to that, but I know some people don't really vibe with that fanservice-y gimmick. As for things to do outside the story of the game, there's not much. You will find your standard options such as boss rush modes, stage selections, online leaderboards, and a museum portion for all the collectible artwork you will find and unlock throughout your playthrough. The controls mostly play like any other shoot-'em-up. You can fire continuous bursts of energy, you can dash backwards, fly around the stage, evading things, and with your power meter full, you can fire the infamous Choro-gon Breath shot. However, the decision to make the firing command, the R button on your controller, was a little strange to me. I'm so used to just pressing A or B on the controller, but now I kept having to remember to reach to the top of my Pro controller and press the R button. Minor nitpick, more of an annoyance really, but just wanted to point that out as well. Unfortunately, I went in with higher expectations for this game and was not prepared to finish the story in such a short amount of time. I think with repeats, I clocked in a total of 2 hours, which is to be expected for an arcade-style shoot-'em-up, but this being a game based on a licensed property, I sort of set myself up for a longer narrative. There is a nice surprise with the final boss of the game, as well as a funny resolution to the main story, which definitely made me feel like I was watching an episode of the anime or reading a chapter of the manga, but as soon as I was done, I didn't really have a strong urge to replay things right away and complete the collectible side of things. I appreciated the game for what it's worth. There was a nice care that went into translating the humor and personality of the story into this game, and honestly, it's not every day a show or book you like gets a video game. As I mentioned before, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Sakuretsu Choro-gon Breath is a fun, simple, yet nice entry point into Q-em-ups, but the short length and really a lack of extras did make me question the price for the physical edition. Ultimately, the deciding factor was my love for the franchise. A funny, slightly perverted, wholesome entry with some quirky comedic characters that I enjoy. If you're a fan of Miss Kobayashi, do pick it up. At $40, however, maybe wait for a sale? But as someone wanting to get into shoot-em-ups on the Switch, I think it's best to look elsewhere. Thank you everybody for tuning in, liking, commenting, and subscribing to Geekdom Gaming. Truly appreciated. God bless, stay safe out there. I will catch all of you on our next video.